Your brother-in-law's mugshot is already trending on the local news. They're calling him the $100 Rolex thief, who tried to fence a $500,000 watch. My hands trembled as I stared at Troy's arrested face on my phone screen, while the pawn shop owner explained how my late father's vintage Daytona wasn't just valuable. It was one of only 12 ever made. But the real shock came when my sister Lisa grabbed the phone and said, "Good, I hope they throw away the key. By the way, Diana, I'm the one who told the pawn shop exactly which watch to look for." I stood frozen in my kitchen, unable to process what I'd just heard. Lisa, sweet, devoted Lisa who'd been married to Troy for 15 years, had orchestrated his arrest? You knew? I managed, sinking into a chair. Lisa's voice through the phone was steel wrapped in silk. "I've known about the watch for 3 months. Dad showed me the authentication papers before he died. He was going to tell you at Christmas. But Troy said he found it while cleaning out Dad's closet. Troy's a pathological liar and a thief. I've been documenting his stealing for 2 years, waiting for him to take something big enough to put him away." She paused. When he came home bragging about selling worthless junk for beer money, I knew he'd finally done it. Mr. Goldberg from the pawn shop cleared his throat. I'd forgotten he was still on the line. "Mrs. Foster, I should mention that your sister provided us with the serial number and photos 3 weeks ago. She asked us to alert her if anyone tried to sell it." My mind reeled. 3 weeks ago? But Dad only died last month. "The day after the funeral," Lisa confirmed, when Troy insisted on helping clean out Dad's house. I saw him pocket the watch. I could have stopped him, Diana. Instead, I let him steal it, knowing exactly what would happen. "Why?" The word came out as a whisper. "Because I needed him gone, and I needed him in prison where he couldn't hurt anyone else." Her voice cracked slightly. "Do you know what else I found when I started documenting? He stole Mom's engagement ring from her nursing home. Sold it while she was dying. He took Uncle Robert's purple heart. Pawned Grandma's pearl necklace that was supposed to go to your Emma." Each revelation hit like a physical blow. I'd noticed things missing over the years, but always assumed I'd misplaced them, or my memory was faulty. "The watch was my line in the sand," Lisa continued. "Dad wore it every day for 40 years. It was his father's before that. And Troy saw it as nothing but quick cash." Mr. Goldberg spoke up again. "Mrs. Foster, regarding the watch itself, your sister mentioned 12 were made, but that's not entirely accurate. This particular reference, with the Paul Newman exotic dial and the specific serial number, is one of only 5 known to exist. The last one sold at auction for $642,000. The room spun. Dad had worn over $500,000 on his wrist while shopping at Costco, mowing the lawn, teaching me to drive. "We need to discuss next steps," Mr. Goldberg continued. "The police have the watch as evidence, but once it's released, you'll need proper storage and insurance. I can recommend." "Actually," Lisa interrupted, "I have a safety deposit box already set up in Diana's name only. Dad asked me to arrange it before he died. He knew something like this might happen. Dad knew Troy would steal from him? Dad knew Troy was a thief. He caught him going through his wallet during Thanksgiving. That's when he showed me the watch documentation and asked me to protect you from this." She sighed. "I failed. I should have divorced him years ago." "Lisa." "No, let me finish. Troy didn't just steal objects. He stole our security, our trust, our future. The kids' college funds are gone. He took out loans against the house. We're bankrupt, Diana. But at least now he's facing consequences." I heard sirens through the phone. Lisa must have been watching from her window as more police arrived at their house. "They're searching for more stolen property," she said calmly. I gave them a list. His man cave is full of things he's taken from family members. That signed baseball from Cousin Mike? The coin collection from Mr. Patterson next door? All there. "How long have you been planning this?" "Since I found Mom's ring receipt in his jacket. $50,000 ring sold for $500 to buy poker chips." Her voice hardened. "He lost it all in one night while Mom was taking her last breaths. That's when I started the documentation. Photos, receipts, recordings. I wanted enough to ensure he couldn't plea bargain his way out." Mr. Goldberg excused himself to deal with other customers, promising to call back with updates. I was left alone with my sister's confession. "The kids?" I asked. "With my mom. I told them this morning their father was going to jail. They seemed relieved." Mason said, "Does this mean we don't have to pretend anymore?" That broke my heart. They've been pretending their father isn't a criminal, just like I have. Through my kitchen window, I could see news vans arriving on our quiet street. Someone had leaked the story. Probably the arrest of a man trying to fence a watch worth more than most houses was too juicy to keep quiet. Diana, there's something else, Lisa said. Something I haven't told the police yet. My stomach dropped. What? Troy has a storage unit. He thinks I don't know about it. I followed him there last month. It's full of stolen items, not just from family, but from his job, from friends, from strangers. I photographed everything through the window. Lisa, you have to tell the police. I will, but I wanted you to know first. Your wedding china is in there. The Waterford crystal Mom gave you. The silver frame with Emma's baby picture. All the things you thought were lost in your move. He took them when he helped you pack. Rage, white-hot and pure, flooded through me. He stole from me while pretending to help. That's what he does. Shows up to help, leaves with treasures. Check your jewelry box. Anything valuable missing. I ran to my bedroom, phone pressed to my ear. My grandmother's diamond earrings gone. The gold bracelet my ex-husband gave me for our anniversary gone. The antique cameo that had been in our family for generations gone. Son of a bitch, I breathed. I have photos of all of it in his storage unit. Every single piece. Lisa's voice was grimly satisfied. I've been building this case for 2 years, Diana. Today was just the finale. I returned to the kitchen, my legs shaky. Why didn't you tell me? Because you'd have confronted him. You'd have warned him, given him a chance to explain or make excuses. You're too good, too willing to forgive. I couldn't risk him getting away with it again. She was right. I would have confronted him, probably accepted some sob story about gambling debts or tough times. I would have enabled him just like everyone else had for years. The watch was perfect, Lisa continued. Valuable enough to guarantee serious charges, sentimental enough that no judge would go easy on him. And he walked right into it, bragging about selling Dad's junk, while sitting in a house he'd mortgaged 3 times without telling me. What will you do now? Divorce him. Sell everything that isn't nailed down. Try to pay back some of what he stole. Move in with my mom while I figure out how to start over at 42 with 2 kids and a teaching degree I haven't used in 15 years. You can stay with me, I offered immediately. I have room. No. Mom needs us and we need her. But Diana? Her voice softened. I'm sorry. About all of it. I should have left him the first time I caught him stealing. Should have protected you, protected Dad, protected everyone from him. You were trying to save your marriage. I was trying to save something that was already dead. You can't have a marriage without trust, and I haven't trusted Troy since I found Mom's empty ring box. My doorbell rang, reporters probably. I ignored it. There's one more thing, Lisa said. Dad left a letter. For you. It's in the safety deposit box with the watch papers. He knew he was dying sooner than he told us. The cancer was worse than he let on. He spent his last weeks making sure everything was protected, documented, safe from Troy. Tears burned my eyes. My practical father, still taking care of us even while facing death. Read the letter when you're ready, Lisa continued. But know this, he was so proud of you. Said you were the one who inherited his integrity along with his stubbornness. What about you? He said I inherited his ability to play the long game. Guess he was right. She laughed bitterly. 2 years of pretending everything was fine while documenting my husband's crimes. Dad would have done the same thing. The doorbell rang again, more insistent. Through the peephole, I saw Detective Martinez, who'd handled the initial theft report. I have to go, I told Lisa. The police are here. Diana, I love you. And I'm sorry. For everything. I love you too. And Lisa, you did the right thing. The brave thing. Dad would be proud. I opened the door to Detective Martinez's grim face. Mrs. Foster, we need to discuss your brother-in-law's activities. We've uncovered significantly more than a stolen watch. As I let him in, my phone buzzed with a news alert. Troy's mugshot filled the screen with the headline. Local man arrested for stealing $642,000 watch from deceased father-in-law. But they had the story wrong. This wasn't about a watch, valuable as it was. This was about a man who'd spent years stealing from people who loved him, enabled by their trust and his wife's desperate hope that he'd change. It was about my father, who wore a fortune on his wrist but saw it only as a family heirloom to pass down. It was about Lisa, who played a 2-year con on her own husband to ensure justice. It was about me, learning that sometimes the people who hurt us most are the ones we invite into our homes. Detective Martinez spread photos across my kitchen table, the storage unit's contents. My wedding china gleamed next to stolen power tools. My grandmother's earrings sat atop someone else's coin collection. Lives pilfered and hoarded like a dragon's treasure. Your sister provided extensive documentation, he said. This is one of the most thorough cases of family theft I've seen. She did our job for us. She had good reason, I said, staring at my mother's ring in one of the photos. The watch puts him away for 5 to 7. The rest, he gestured at the photos. We're looking at 15 to 20. Maybe more if we can connect him to some commercial burglaries in the area. Good. He looked up, surprised by my vehemence. He stole from my dying mother, I explained. From my grieving father. From children's college funds. He deserves every day he gets. As the detective gathered his photos and left with promises to keep me updated, I thought about Dad's watch. 5 in the world, he'd said. Worth more than a house. But Dad had valued it for different reasons. Because his father had worn it. Because it marked time not in dollars but in memories. Sunday dinners, birthday parties, quiet mornings reading the paper. Moments Troy had tried to sell for $100. Lisa texted me a photo, the pawn shop surveillance footage showing Troy at the counter, holding Dad's watch carelessly, eager for quick cash. His expression was what struck me most. No guilt, no hesitation, just greed and impatience. That was Troy's mugshot, really. Not the booking photo trending on social media, but this, a man so morally bankrupt he'd sell his children's future and his father-in-law's legacy for beer money. The news would focus on the watch's value, the dramatic arrest, the family scandal. They'd miss the real story. A woman who loved her husband enough to gather evidence of his crimes, a father who protected his daughters even in death, and a watch that revealed more about character than time. Dad's Rolex would come home eventually, return to the family that understood its true worth. It would go in the safety deposit box Lisa had prepared, waiting for Emma's future husband. A man who'd hopefully understand that some things are priceless precisely because they can't be sold. And Troy would have years to contemplate the difference between value and price, between family and marks, between $100 in hand and a lifetime of trust thrown away. His mugshot would fade from the news cycle, but his legacy was permanent. The man who stole from the dying and sold memories for pocket change. The $100 Rolex thief. May he wear that title longer than my father wore his watch.